All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. Actually, it's just been a week. That's what it always is. But this is the You, Me, and BTC podcast. We got some fun stuff on the docket for today. Some pretty, not big stories, but just exciting stuff that's been going on over the past week or so. One of them is the halvening. The block reward has been cut in half. We're going to run through that a little bit, talk about the price, and just, I don't know, I was in a hangout celebration. That was fun. And we're going to cover another huge thing, Pokemon Go. I don't know, I've never played Pokemon in my life, but I'm all of a sudden addicted to Pokemon Go. But I also just like the concept, and we'll get into all of that. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
John Stewart.
All right, John, did you do anything to celebrate the halvening? To be honest, did you even know it was happening?
I knew it was happening. I didn't know the exact time, and I still don't know the exact time. I know it was like in the last day or two.
Right.
But no, I didn't really care that much.
Well, it was the last 4 days. It was Saturday, the 9th of July. We're recording on Wednesday the 13th. But that, I don't know, John, that just kind of fits with us. All three of us, Tim isn't here tonight, but all three of us are just like, yeah, who cares? Not just about the halvening, but about everything, right? I mean, isn't that pretty much us?
Yeah, I guess so.
But I did, though. I woke up. This is the first weekend that I had a quiet weekend. I've been away for a few weekends. But this weekend, Saturday morning, I was just home. Had nothing planned. I was just going to sit on the computer, get some work done. But I woke up Saturday morning, and the first thing, before I even get out of bed, the first thing I see on my phone is Thomas he's from the World Crypto Network. He's Mad Bitcoins, and he helps out at purse.io. And the first thing I read when I woke up was, hey, I'm having a hangout in about half an hour to celebrate the halvening. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'll join. So I did. We had some random people in there, some guests. We just talked about, what was going on, celebrated. It was fun. But anyway, I don't know. Any thoughts, John? Do you think the halvening, a lot of people thought it would be a big event because of the price. And not much has really happened there yet. But I don't know. In terms of the price, John, in terms of anything else, any thoughts? Is it a big event? Is it really just whatever? Is it a giant step for mankind? I don't know. What do you think about the halvening?
It's cool, I guess. But I don't care unless it affects anything.
Right.
And I guess that's what people are always freaking out about it. Is that it's going to affect stuff, but right now nothing is that different, so I don't know. You never really know.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what I said when they were asking me. I was like, well, it's cool, it's fun. I said, we were in the celebratory hangout, and I'm like, yeah, just stuff like this is cool. When it's a random event, sure, but I'm all for people just having fun, hanging out, celebrating. I am all for that. If you want to get 15 of your friends and go to a restaurant and have drinks because of the halvening, I don't care. It's fun. Let's celebrate.
It's just to me, it's no different than a birthday or New Year's or something. It's just a random, well, not random, but it's somewhat arbitrary, commemorative thing.
Right. And I'm all for that for Bitcoin. New Year's, a little random, but it's a symbol. Things are happening, things are moving forward, people progress. They try to make resolutions, they never really succeed. But it's still a symbol. There's nothing wrong with being excited about, time passing by, progress, getting things done, whatever. And that's what the halvening is for Bitcoin. It's hey guys, we made it another, 3 years, 3.5 years? I forget how long it's supposed to be between halvenings. But it's just a celebration. We made it this far, and we're still kicking. Let's have some fun. I'm all right with that.
It's just another milestone.
Yep, exactly. Cool. I wish I could have, I wish I knew a bunch of Bitcoiners in the area. I don't. There are some, of course, I'm sure. But it would have been nice to go out and I don't even know, just have fun. But that's all right. We hung out online. That's the beauty of the internet, which actually is is kind of similar to what we're going to get into with Pokemon Go. But before we get there, I want to ask about the price, John. Like I said, it hasn't moved much. I want to ask if you think there's a reason for that, if you expect it to go up over time. I mean, a lot of people have said and even just economics, right? A lower supply, or at least a lower supply acceleration or speed. I don't know. I mean, the supply is still increasing, but at a lower rate. That's what I'm trying to say. And economics says a lower supply should lead to a higher price. So what do you think about that? Should it happen eventually? Has it already happened? Any thoughts about why the price hasn't moved yet and if it will?
Yeah, I honestly, I think it could be a good thing that the price hasn't really moved yet.
A good thing?
Yeah.
Why? Like you're saying it would be a bad thing if the price spiked?
Not necessarily that it would be bad if the price spiked, but that it's probably better that it didn't.
Okay.
Because so the stuff about like limited supply and the price supposed to be going up or whatever, like I agree with that, but is that ever supposed to happen overnight?
Okay, right.
And to me, for years people have just been saying over and over again how volatile Bitcoin is, and now like this happens.
Oh yeah,
and it hasn't changed. That is huge.
Okay, that you're right. I hadn't thought of that, but it is a really good point. And you're right. It's a good defense when people start arguing now about how volatile it is. For me, the biggest thought I had is just that, well, people have known about this since the start of Bitcoin, since 2008 or 9, when it started going. People were waiting for this date. So it's different than a lot of economic events, like when Janet Yellen, goes up to the microphone after a Federal Reserve meeting and is like, we're gonna change the interest rates, and all of a sudden the stock market flies up or down. It's different than that, and it's different than, I don't even know, than a gold rush. People aren't expecting that. They don't know the gold's there until they find it, and all of a sudden, or any kind of rush, or any kind of change in supply or demand. A lot of times they're unexpected, and that's when the price flies up or down. In this case, everyone knew about it for ages. In Bitcoin years, it's infinity, it's forever. It's just planned, it's there. And so for a long time before the actual halvening, there were people saying, oh, it's going to become more valuable, buy it, buy it, buy it. And they did, and the price did go up before, and it might continue to go up after, but it's just all planned and nothing unexpected, and it's going to be gradual. That would be my expectation. And if you take the whole, if you go from start to end in Bitcoin, people have always said it's capped at 21 million. And that's the same thing as saying that when the halvening happens, the price should go up. If you're telling people to buy it because there's a 21 million hard cap, it's the same thing. Limited supply. It's the same thing as the halvening. That cap exists because of the halvening. We've been telling people about that cap forever. We're still going to tell people that there's a cap, there's a limited supply, and it's all the same thing. So people are going to buy because of that cap. Does that make sense? Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if Zach's listening. We've had him on the show before, and he was telling me that he was kind of upset that the price wasn't going up a ton. But yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't expect huge swings right away anyway. We did get a little dip right as the halvening was happened. It actually dipped down like $20-$30 or something. But it was just market excitement, somebody trying to get a position, and it leveled off after a few minutes. And it's still relatively level. We're right at about 650, 660. So Anyway, I don't know, John. That's about all I got for the Halvening. Like we said, it's just us. It's not a huge deal. Not much is a huge deal on this show.
Oh, but Pokemon Go is a huge deal.
All right. Okay. I am all for you there. I completely agree. And I guess we'll just get into it, John. I didn't want to ask before the show because I wanted to keep this on the show, have a nice fresh conversation. We're going to be getting fresh with all of our listeners. What was your connection between Pokemon Go and Bitcoin? We also have a connection, well, not really a connection, but Jeffrey Tucker wrote a piece about how it's a good sign for liberty. So we'll probably get to that soon too. But what about you, John? What do you think about Bitcoin and Pokemon Go?
Well, before we get into that, I feel like maybe we should just preface it with like our initial thoughts on it.
Actually, speaking of before we get to that, even before we get to that, I think we should just explain what it is. A lot of people should know, especially, younger people that are into Bitcoin, that are into tech, and that are listening to this show. They'll probably know. Like, if you're on the internet, you've probably heard of it and you know the general idea. But just in case, John, what is Pokemon Go? Have you played it? Are you on it? Are you level 500 yet?
So I downloaded it a few days ago.
All right.
And I've probably put 10 or 15 minutes into it. So
Okay.
I really haven't played it at all. I haven't caught any Pokemon except this starting Pokemon. I did play Pokemon growing up a lot.
Okay.
The reason I do want to get into it, I just haven't had the time really. I've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But
are there any we have to explain what it is first. Yeah, keep going.
So this is similar to other Pokemon games. You walk around and you get into battles with Pokemon and then you try to catch them, and you go to gyms and stuff and do all these battles. The catch here, or not the catch.
The catch.
Yeah, that pun not intended. But anyways, the thing that makes this unique and different, and why it's such a freaking huge deal, is that you actually walk around in the real world instead of walking around on your device that you're playing the game with a controller or a touchpad or with the mouse or whatever. I can't think of what the D-pad.
A joystick.
Joystick, whatever it is. I sound like such an idiot right now. But instead of walking around in game, you actually walk around in the real world, and it uses your phone's location to follow you around. And so there's different Pokemon based on actual places in the real world.
Yep.
The gyms are in actual places in the real world, and there's there's a bunch of new stuff that I don't know because I haven't played it enough, but there's Pokestops and there's other things that you can collect that weren't in the game back when I was playing Red and Blue.
So are there any do you know if there's any Pokestops or gyms nearby, or have you ever gone outside to actually play?
So I actually work. It's kind of hard to read the map, but I either work in a gym or right next to a gym.
Oh, crap. See, that's been a problem for me because, you have to take over gyms from other Pokemon to help you progress. But I haven't been close enough to a gym. I have stopped at a couple times, but I didn't win, or I didn't have reception, or I got lagged out. That's another big deal with the game, is because it exploded so much, the servers are kind of sketchy. It's a little buggy and glitchy. But anyway, so you live or you work at a gym or near one.
So I haven't experienced any of the glitchy stuff, although I've only put in 15 minutes or so. But it's worked pretty well for me so far. But yeah, I work downtown. So there's all kinds of crap down there.
Nice.
Dude, I see everyone at my work is playing on their lunch break. I see so many people walking around downtown just playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, so I have the same way at my office. I work in a real small suburb, but everyone in the office plays it, and we have we have several offices nearby, but mine has a Pokestop right outside of it. And from my desk technically I'm about 10 feet short of being able to get items at the Pokestop. All that it means is you just go there and you swipe and you get some bonus items every few minutes. And I'm technically about 10 feet out of range. But if I look at it at the right times, or if I walk around, or if I get my GPS to glitch out just a little bit, I can get the items. So yeah, and my boss plays it too. So I'm completely okay to sit there and swipe for items all day long. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, everyone else at the office is playing it. We're all in the red team. Do you have a team yet, John?
No, I hate that I haven't played more. Like, it's so annoying to me, but I'm so self-conscious. Like, I don't want to walk around at work.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like, I feel like I'm wasting time, and I feel like someone's gonna sneak up behind me and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, we have a. It is such a weird cultural like shift. Like if you're playing the game like seriously, like you're going to be breaking a lot of cultural norms. Like I had to drive through a neighborhood and just park on the side of the road for a minute or two to try to take a gym. Like that's weird. That's creepy, but it's a shift. It's like a thing now. So
oh yeah, well I didn't you just sent me the Jeffrey Tucker article, so I haven't gotten a chance to read it, but like stuff like that, where it's like getting people to do things that they would never have done before, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he talks about, but
well, yeah, kind of. Just how it's so new and it's so free. Like we don't need. It's not a political thing, and yet it's still so powerful. There's no force involved, but it's still a huge cultural force. I think I read a couple articles about how they had about as many real-time users as Twitter within just a few days. I mean, it's a huge thing. And yeah, I think it's great.
So this is another thing, and this is totally related to what you just said about Jeffrey Tucker's thing. And this is my thought that I had on the bus today when I was coming home from work.
Give it to me.
This is what, like, when I realized there was a connection between Pokemon Go and potentially Bitcoin. So I don't know if I saw this as a tweet or somebody told me about it, or if it was a tweet, or I don't know what it was. It might have been a Reddit post. I heard it or saw it or something somewhere. I know that somebody said this or typed this. That was a long explanation.
We're good at our journalism research, checking our sources. Somebody said it somewhere.
Yeah, somebody, and I'm only saying that because I don't want to take credit for it. I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's just kind of an offhand comment. But they were basically saying Michelle Obama has been trying for 7 years to get kids to go outside, and Pokemon Go got every single kid in like the country to go outside in 2 days.
Yes. He actually quotes that in this article. He doesn't say who it's from either, but he says, as a wit on Facebook said, Pokemon Go has done more for childhood obesity in the last 24 hours than Michelle Obama has done in the past 8 years. And it's so true. I mean, kids run around for this.
It just got me thinking of how insanely influential technology has become and how powerful it can be. And it's simple things like Pokemon Go is not revolutionary technology.
Oh yeah.
It's all stuff that has existed. I mean, like, you've used Google Maps. It's basically Google Maps.
It's Google Maps and Street View, you know,
with added like Pokemon battles.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning.
Which existed on the Game Boy Color like 20 years ago or however long it came out.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning the buzzword that they've been using, augmented reality. And so it's the real world with, you know, real images. My church is a gym. It says it in the game, Valley Life Church Gym. It is. It's augmented reality. It's the real world augmented. They just add stuff. They add Pokestops. They add gyms. And actually, that's about it. Oh, and they add the little Pokemon all over the place.
So augmented reality is something that people have been, it's sort of been a buzzword for the last couple of years, but not much has happened with it, I guess.
Right.
But I think this stuff is incredible because to someone who doesn't know anything about programming or anything about technology, it's not like what actually goes into it, what's going on in the back end. It's totally about the experience. And that's like, I've had conversations with one of my friends who's like a programmer also about how there was another game exactly like 2048 before 2048 got huge. And 2048 is a game that like any sophomore computer science major could make in like a couple hours. There's nothing amazing about it at all.
It's literally addition and swiping. That's all it is.
Yeah, and there was a game exactly like it on the App Store before 2048. The reason that 2048 beat it out and got so huge is just because it was better designed. And that's like a huge thing that I think sometimes, like, being in technology, you can underrate. You can kind of lose track of the experience side of it.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of a complete tangent, but one of my friends just sent me this, like, long email with this idea for an app that he had. and it's so interesting to me because it'd be a big thing if I was going to make it. It's not something I could make by myself just because of how many users and stuff you'd have to be able to accommodate and all of that kind of stuff. But like all of the pieces of it are pretty simple, like being able to upload photos and stuff like that. That's not hard. But he knows nothing about technology and he comes up with this idea, which is something that like I might not think of because it just seems like obvious to me.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like all the things that go into it. And it's the same thing with Pokemon Go. It's like, I saw another tweet. This is actually a tweet. I remember it. And I think it was actually retweeted by Cyril Blanc.
Okay.
And it was something like the next 4 months, every startup is going to be, how can we make something like Pokemon Go except for sports? And it's like, as soon as this comes out, everybody's like, oh, this is so obvious. Why didn't we do this?
Yeah, see, that's before I even played the game, I knew that I couldn't wait for them to make other versions of it. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one is just like I said, I think at the beginning of the show, I've never played Pokemon. Honestly, I've kind of always thought it was kind of lame and boring. And so I want something that I enjoy more to be augmented reality, to be a cool app that I can run around and do stuff in. But, and the other thing is just competition. I want different people, and this really is a lot like blockchain, where everyone's like, how can we use the blockchain for this or this or this? It's actually really similar. I want different people to come up with similar but different ideas. Something, like we just said, little changes or adding a small feature or combining a lot of simple things in a good design can be absolutely amazing. And I want them, like I said, just not a huge fan of Pokemon. I can't wait till they have this for, I don't even know, something else. Even if it was just, honestly, I have this thing against fanboys. Like, if somebody's obsessed with something, I have, that's enough of a reason for me not to like it. And that's kind of how it is with Pokemon. Just because everyone is so obsessed with it, I have some hesitations about it. So if you made something that was exactly like Pokemon, but not Pokemon, even if the game worked the same way, I'd be more interested. But that's just me. The world as a whole loves Pokemon, and so it's going to take off. That's fine. And I'll play it anyway, because it's cool and it's new. That's also fine. But anyway, where was I going with that? Yeah, they're going to have a lot of different versions, a lot of new similar things. And I'm all for that. I mean, they're going to segment the user base, so there might be less people playing one game. Maybe. I don't know. It depends how good the other ones are. And I think there is a lot to be said for such a massive user base where you walk through the park and you can see 30 other kids playing the same game. That's pretty cool. And I don't know if I want that segmented, but yeah, anyway.
I hope that it's looked back on as the first sort of killer app for augmented reality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, again, just like Bitcoin, it's the first killer app for the blockchain, and it's been around for this long now, and yeah, Pokemon Go probably will be. They're going to be adding update. I mean, even a completely standard, like, Call of Duty or something, those are played, for 8, 10, 12 years. Yeah, probably, I don't know, 5 or 10 anyway. I don't know. People play them. Halo, people play them for years, even after new ones come out. And
I mean,
so,
I feel like people still play Pokemon Red and Blue.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but I agree. And even older games like Nintendo 64 or whatever. Yeah, I'm not saying those games go away, but I'm talking about having an active online user base. There's no difficulty in making that last for years and years and years. And I expect that Pokemon Go will leverage that, and they're going to have tons of cool updates all the time. And, there's going to be new stuff, fun stuff. They're supposedly going to introduce trading Pokemon and real-time person-to-person battles. I can't wait. Okay. Now, we said trading Pokemon, and that's a big thing for me because I want to make money. And so that means, John, I have to ask, before I get into my ideas about trading and making money and Bitcoin maybe, is that what you were thinking about Bitcoin, or what were your thoughts about how this relates to Bitcoin?
I was just actually going to try to go back to that because I remembered that I never made it clear what I was actually talking about.
Yeah.
So I brought up the thing about Michelle Obama trying to get kids to go outside. And then I started going off on how powerful technology is. I guess what I was getting at is that we have found ways to do things with technology that we only dreamed of without it. And I think Bitcoin is the same thing.
Stuff that government spends millions or even billions of dollars on and gets nowhere. And with technology in a week, it just takes off.
Yeah. And it
I don't know if you wanted to bring government into this, but I just did.
I mean, when I was talking about Michelle Obama, that's kind of the connection that's kind of what connected me to Bitcoin. It's like something. I also, like, at work today, I went through this anti-money laundering training for like 2 hours. So, like, I feel like that was in my subconscious at the same time.
Yeah.
Where it's like they go through I was amazed. It was like a 2-hour training video thing about anti-money laundering. And it's like, I know I'm not going to remember probably 80% of it because there's just so much like stuff around money laundering, like things that companies have to do to like comply, things you have to do to try to prevent it. Like you have to provide employees ways to like report it if they see suspicious things happening. Like there's just so much crap. And then you have something like Bitcoin where it's like all of that stuff could be completely automated.
Well, it's not even, I would argue that it's not just that they put all these resources into anti-money laundering and hours of training and regulations. It's not just that they have all of that stuff. It's that they have all of that stuff, all of that effort, and there's still money laundering. Every day, all over the place, terrorists, ISIS is still a thing. And, you're not going to stop money going from person to person to do bad things, especially in the U.S., where most of the time when they talk about anti-money laundering, they're talking about stopping the transfer of drug money. And that everyone knows that a lot of drugs go all over the place every day. So even with all this effort put into stopping it, it's still, you're not actually succeeding. You're not actually stopping money laundering, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at with the Michelle Obama thing, because as far as I know, her crap got nothing done. Like nobody went outside, nobody was exercising, and I don't think Pokemon Go is like gonna make people lose 20 pounds. I don't think it's making people. Like, people are going outside and walking around. It's not like they're going to the gym now and, like, working out for an hour every day. But
I don't know, though. I mean, a 20-minute walk in the park is miles better than most kids get.
Yeah, it does. I definitely think it makes a difference. Does it make a huge difference? It depends on how you define huge, I guess. But I just completely lost where I was going with that.
I mean, I would argue, I mean, I agree. Huge is a relative term. But I think that this comment, I don't actually think it's an exaggeration. I think it's completely true that in 24 hours, Pokemon Go got more people running around losing calories.
I guess what I was saying is not that it did less than Michelle Obama. I definitely think it did more. Maybe it's not enough, I guess, is what I was saying.
Okay. Yep.
But that's beside the point. It still did more. Yep. And I think there's also like a lot of other things. And I did read like the first couple paragraphs of Jeffrey Tucker's thing. And this is kind of what he got into, where he was talking about how like the last couple weeks, to him it seemed like people were super depressed just about like the state of the country and everything.
Yeah, with all the shootings and everything.
Yeah.
There've been like 4 or 5 of them in a few weeks.
Yeah, and some people might just call this escapism and stuff. I don't know if I even like have a problem with escapism necessarily. But honestly, what is the point if you can't have fun, I guess? Like things like this, it sounds so stupid, but I think having like games like Pokemon and stuff is seriously like one of the most important things in life, especially like in a society where we don't have to like farm to stay alive. Like everything, being alive is really easy here. And we have all these people who are depressed and killing themselves.
Or killing other people.
Yeah, exactly. Something like this that actually people care about and is like getting people to go outside, getting people to talk to each other, make friends, interact with other people, go to places maybe they wouldn't have gone before, explore.
Oh, yeah.
It's mind-blowing. Like, if you went back like a month and said, all right, and you told somebody like a month from now, there's going to be people walking around on the streets everywhere, like talking to each other, walking around, people who don't usually go out that often walking around, people going to places that they've never been before, all of this stuff.
Yeah, like, here's a good example. There's right outside my apartment complex, there's a real fancy, like it's a waterfall, like a fountain, all right? It's man-made, but it's a fountain waterfall kind of just a landmark. And, people drive by it every day. It's cool. But you're saying that, a month ago, you're going to tell someone that it's a gym. There's a gym at this waterfall. I guess that's the point. And you're saying that a month ago, you're going to tell someone that, hey, in a month, a whole bunch of kids, teenagers, old, my coworker is 30-something, and he takes his, 5 and 10-year-old kids to the park to do this stuff. That's amazing. And all these other kids are going to be rushing to this waterfall just for fun, just to hang out. Before that, people...
And so in this scenario where you're telling somebody this, you just say that, and you don't explain why. Like, what do you think would be going through their heads? They'd be like, what is going to cause this to happen? Like, what is going to make people stop being recluses, stop being slobs that walk around and do nothing?
Yeah. I mean, we do have places like, I'm a few hours from the Grand Canyon. That is a landmark. A lot of people go there for fun. All right, there's national parks, or there's regular parks that people go to for fun occasionally. But the difference here is that it's like every day, and it's like people that don't do it very much are getting involved. So we're not saying that all of a sudden people are interacting. We're saying that it's happening, or all of a sudden people are exploring. I mean, sure, people did that before, but we're just saying it's happening a lot more, and it's healthy, and it's exciting, and it's fun. Right?
There's something going on right now. My older sister, who has probably never played a video game in her entire life, is like walking around trying to catch all these Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening? I feel like this is like when the Beatles came to America or something like that.
Oh man, yeah. It's true. It is definitely a pop culture thing, and it's a huge shift or event. Are you tired of Bitcoin dice and ready for something different? Try LuckyBit, the original falling coin game, at luckybit. It's the most exciting Bitcoin game on the web. You can bet on 5 different payout lines and win up to 999 times your bet. You can even use their faucet to get some free Bitcoin. Dice is boring. Play different at LuckyBit. Check it out at luckybit.
I mean, how much Nintendo's stock went up like 15% or something, didn't it?
Oh, man.
One night.
I didn't know that, but that's pretty sweet.
And don't quote me on that. It's probably wrong, but it went up a lot, like a significant amount.
I think that's a good transition into money talk, because there is a lot of money-related things that I want to get to here. No, there's 2 main things. One is just Bitcoin and profit. The other one is how Nintendo, I think, I've heard some crazy ideas about how they could make money. But I want to start with Bitcoin. And I guess this wasn't your main point, John, but it could have been. And I think it's a fun possibility. They are supposedly going to introduce trading Pokemon, and even already there there are people advertising on Craigslist like, hey, I'll drive you around for an hour and take you to all the Pokestops for $20. That is also absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know if Tucker mentions it. I read most of this, but Tucker would love that. All right. He loves when the free market happens, and so do I. I think it's beautiful when people say, I'll drive you for a video game for $20. I think that's awesome. I wish I had time to do that. Maybe I should try, because I could make some time and it would be awesome. And, you would meet people. It's like Uber. It's almost the same, but it's just another avenue for stuff like that to happen.
Oh, yeah. And I wonder if people are actually like buying more Ubers now to drive crazy places.
Well, I don't know if it was Tucker that says it or maybe I read it in a different article. They basically said that Uber isn't really well designed for it, because if you stop too much, you're going to get charged a lot. It's just not very well designed. But there are people independently making this stuff happen, like on Craigslist. And
that reminds me, I saw somebody post an article on Facebook it was an article about how all of these local small businesses are doing really well right now because of Pokemon. Yeah. Like, people are going around catching Pokemon, and then they're like, well, I guess I'll stop here and get a coffee or get a sandwich or whatever. Yeah,
I remember one of my coworkers was saying that there were like 3 Pokestops and a Cabela's, and people were walking around Cabela's, and maybe a dad had his kids there, and his kids were like loving the game, and the dad was like, oh, I'm going to go look at the guns. Like, that stuff happens. Or I also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I also read a pretty funny article about, I don't know if you've heard of the Babylon Bee, John, but it's like the Onion for churches. Yeah. And the article was like church attendance spikes because there's a gym there, which is actually pretty common. Or there's a lot of gyms at like libraries and stuff. This is all going to happen. And I think it's great when people make money independently, when they don't really have an employer, but they make money just driving people around. I've always been jealous of people who play EVE Online, because there are people who make a ton of money in those games because it's a really free economy. I don't know a lot of details about it, but I've always loved the concept. It's a super free game economy, and people play it and make money. I wish I could do the same thing. I've been jealous of that kind of stuff. And this is why I can't wait for trading to come to Pokemon, because I could care less how many Pokemon I collect. I would not mind one bit selling my, Squirtle for a couple millibits. I would do that all day long. And, or maybe I find a rare one and sell it for 100 millibits or a Bitcoin, right? This is why we've briefly mentioned Spells of Genesis. It's a blockchain Bitcoin card game that's in beta right now. But this is why I got into that. If you want to check it out, I think it's really cool, spellsofgenesis.com. But I want to make money there too. I like the free market. I like games. I like my computer and my phone. And I think it would be great to make money just having fun and playing and entertaining people. I don't know. I'm all for all that stuff. And I don't know, John. Would you ever try to sell any Pokemon? I guess it depends how much they end up going for, right?
Yeah. I mean, I might. I mean, the thing is, if I was going to play it, I'd be more interested in just playing it.
Right.
Than doing that. I mean, I am interested in playing it. And that's, like, I don't know if I'd be someone who'd, like, go after, like, the rarest Pokemon and then try to sell them or whatever. It's more just, like, I want to go around and have fun. But, yeah, I think that's, like, totally awesome. And I guess you didn't get there, but I'm assuming what you were going towards was that if they were going to do something like that, Bitcoin would be a perfect way for people to start trading on there. Like, it just would work.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. And here's an issue, though. A lot of game studios, like Nintendo, are they a game studio or like I don't know what they would be called. But a lot of times they intentionally cut off free trade. They try to keep real money out of it because they want to keep selling their Poke tokens or whatever they're called. They try not to let other people trade for real money because they want to be the ones making the real money. And that's understandable. Like, I get where they're coming from. I get why they want to do that. But I'm here to tell them that it's way less exciting that way. You're just going to cut off a bunch of people who could be making money and making for themselves and for you, the game developers. You know, you're just, if limiting things is not going to help anything. That's why I like Spells of Genesis, where the cards are on the blockchain so they can't be duplicated and they're freely tradable. And that's, EVE Online made the decision for a free economy, and I'm all for that. And I really, really hope that Nintendo and Pokemon, I hope that they decide to let things be free. Not free, but like free. You know what I mean. Anyway, yeah. I don't know, though. We'll have to see.
I can respect Nintendo if they decided not to, though, because the thing with Nintendo that I think is cool about them is that they've always... I don't know how to describe this, but this is going to be really, really a stretch to like try to make the connections between what I'm talking about here. But Nintendo is like one of the few video game makers where like their games don't look good because of the graphics. So like a lot of games on like PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, it's like every time a new game comes out, they're like, look at how amazing the graphics are. And it's all about the specs. But if you go back and like look at some GameCube games, they look awesome, not because the graphics are so amazing, but because like they paid more attention to the design than like the actual technical specifications.
Oh yeah.
And I think Nintendo is really good at presentation of things. Maybe that's the best way to say it. I don't know what I'm trying to... There's like not words for what I'm trying to say, but like having something like that, I could see where to them it might like taint the image of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that's part of where the value of it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that something like this would have happened if it wasn't Pokemon, and I also don't think it would have happened at a different time. So like right now there's all kinds of people like me who are 20-somethings who grew up playing Pokemon, and now all of us are like walking around at our jobs with smartphones.
Right.
And like the nostalgia factor I think is a huge part in why this has been like something that's not just kids.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that Pokemon Go still will succeed and continue, even if they don't have a free economy, or not free, even if they have a closed economy or try to, which actually that doesn't usually succeed. But even if they technically outlaw, trading for real money, then I think they'll be fine. I think there are a lot of other benefits, like you said, nostalgia and everything. I don't think it's going to ruin the game. I think it's just going to be a lost opportunity. But
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it would be cool, but I would understand if they didn't do that. I just respect Nintendo too much, but
well, I do also agree with you on the whole presentation thing. It's an image, a brand. They're cartoony characters and everything. It's all Nintendo, Well, I don't know. Pokemon didn't start with Nintendo, did it? I don't think so.
I believe it did.
Okay.
I believe it's always been Nintendo, which, totally random fact, but Nintendo has been around since 1889.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that once on a show. I don't, maybe a live show or something? But yeah,
I think I was talking about how, about how businesses are treated differently in Japan, and there's, a lot of really old businesses there.
Okay.
But that was a totally random fact.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, I guess I was saying, I agree with all the image benefits. And another factor is that there are a lot of kids that like video games like this, and they don't usually have a lot of money, and they might not have a ton of video game skills either. And so if there is a free economy, there's going to be people that are going to pay $50 or $100 to get the best Pokemon, and the kids are going to be left I can't take this gym. I already cannot really take any gyms because they're just really high levels. And I don't know. There's a lot of, on what is it called? Mario Kart. They do a really, really, really good job of balancing the gameplay, mostly because of the power-ups. If you're in last place, you get better power-ups. If you're in first place, you get meh power-ups. All right? But they make it work so that everyone can have fun. They can move ahead and move back. But if you're really good, you're still probably going to win. It's an absolutely difficult skill to master. I took a game design course before, and it's incredibly difficult to master the difficulty, right? But Nintendo did it so well.
They do it. I'm like I said, Nintendo is a game developer, game company, whatever they are, that I respect a lot.
Yeah. So that's because of that difficulty balance that they want to keep. It's going to be more balanced if you keep money out of it. That's definitely true. Although money's already involved, you can already pay for Pokeballs and stuff. You can pay Nintendo for them. So, money's... The thing is, there's a big thing in video games where people hate pay-to-win games. And, that's an important thing to be conscious of. It does kind of suck when the game is pay to win, because there's going to be people that are going to pay and they're going to win, and the rest of the people are going to be like, well, that was dumb. So I'm sure they're going to try to avoid that. But there are ways to have, maybe, I don't know, I guess I would have to think about this. There are probably ways to have a free economy where you can pay for, benefits, but they're not really going to make you the best. They're not really going to make you win. They're just, cool things, or they make things a little bit easier, maybe. That's always possible, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Paying for Pokeballs is already, well, no, it's not. It's not really pay to win, because you still have to walk around to even find the Pokemon. But anyway, it's all just something to keep a watch on. We're coming up on an hour here, but I have one more thing that I want to touch on related to money again, and that is how Nintendo can monetize this game. Just in general, it's a cool idea. I have no idea how much money they must have put into designing this augmentation, right? To finding all of these parks and all of these monuments and all of these libraries and deciding which ones should be Pokestops or which ones should be gyms all over the country. I think all over the world, right? I'm pretty sure. And so that's expensive. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so when I first heard about this, I was thinking about all this, trying to learn about it, and I was wondering how they would make money. One of the best, and yeah, they sell Pokeballs, but that's like, I don't know, you get like 100 Pokeballs for like $10 or something. I don't know. But here's one of the best ideas I've heard, and I want to know if you like this, John. GameStop, just as an example, but really any store could do it. We talked about Cabela's. GameStop could pay to have a special Pokestop at the back of their stores that gives out special rare items. They don't let you win the game, but they're rare or they're just special. That's really all that. In video games, if you make something a different color or just put the word like platinum before it, it's more interesting. It's more attractive. That's just the way people are. They could put something at the back of every GameStop. GameStop would pay $1 million and a bunch of kids would come into the back of their store. What do you think, John? Is that viable? Is it cool? Is it expected? I think it's mind-blowing, and I think it is an incredible opportunity. I think GameStop should pay $1 million for something like that. But I don't know. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. I haven't heard anything about that. I did, though, today hear, I think it was today. No, it was yesterday. A couple of my coworkers were talking about it when they were playing. And they were talking about they were saying that they're collecting tons and tons of data from this game.
Oh, yeah.
Which is probably how they're actually monetizing it.
Right.
Because that's exactly how Google makes money. It's the same thing. So that's probably the actual thing. And it was the reason I brought that up actually is kind of funny because the one guy was like saying, yeah, they track your location, all this stuff, and he was like, I don't really care though. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. And it just reminded me of all the things that we've had about how privacy is overrated.
Yeah.
That's basically what he was saying to another one of my coworkers.
Yeah, I saw almost the exact conversation on Facebook where someone said, oh, they're tracking everything. And then someone commented, yeah, but I don't really care. I know Facebook spies on me and whatever. Like it's true. I mean, we all know. But hey, I want to ask, I need an example. I agree that they're collecting a crap ton of data about all kinds of people and all kinds of places and all kinds of behaviors. I agree. They're collecting a ton of data. But I need an example. What are they going to do with it? How does it help them to know how many people are in the park at a given time? Or how does it help them to know what age is spending their time at the mall as opposed to at the Veterans Memorial down the road where there's another gym? I don't know. How are they? I agree that data is super valuable, and I agree that they're collecting a lot, but I need an example. What exactly are they going to do with this data?
Well, I mean, how many people? Well, they have it. For one thing, they have everybody's email address. So, how many people do you think signed on to there with a Gmail account?
Okay, yeah.
And do you think Google would not be interested in paying Nintendo for some of that data about their own users?
Right. And I would say, well, Google can already get it. I mean, they have Android, and so they already know they have Google Now, right? And they keep track of your locations and tell you when to leave to get to your appointments on time. They have your calendar and everything. But I would just point out that almost every time data goes back to advertising, right? And we've talked about advertising actually fairly recently. Last week or the week before, we talked about Facebook advertising and how crazy it was that they thought they knew all about you. You should seriously check out that episode. It was just last week, episode 130. You should go listen to that. But that's really what data comes back to. And I don't just mean malicious or over-the-top advertising, all right? They're not going to be like, oh, he's at the mall. Let's give him a pop-up for the Nike store, right? I mean, well, they might do that, but my point is, they're not just going to monetize it by throwing ad after every Pokemon that you capture and everything. They're going to maximize their revenue by, it's going to be subtle, I guess is what I'm saying. Because they know what you're interested in, because they know where you're at, there's going to be really, really subtle marketing. Like, they might get you to walk into a GameStop. You won't even know that they paid for that to happen. But there's just going to be super subtle marketing. And I'm all for making it more subtle, right? I don't want my movies to be interrupted by commercials if there's a more targeted way where they can make more money without interrupting me so much and keeping it more subtle. I would rather have a Coke can in the back of the shot than be interrupted by a commercial, right? It's just more subtle. Would you agree with any of that, John? That because they can collect data, they can more subtly advertise to you and make just as much, if not more money? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
All right. So yeah, that's what I think was just saying. With data, it almost always goes back to advertising. But I don't know. There could be more stuff that we're not thinking about. Just, it's data is data, and it's a lot more valuable than a lot of people think. And I don't know. Maybe they're using it to design artificial intelligence. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Well, hey. Advice of the day. We're at about an hour here again still. And what do you think, John? Any crazy tips for our listeners today? Anything about augmented reality or trading Pokemon or what did we talk about first? The Halvening? But yeah, compared to Pokemon Go, the Halvening seems boring now. So
maybe that's why the price has been stable.
Yeah,
everybody completely forgot.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, everything's at a standstill right now. No, I wish I had played more Pokemon Go so that I could make some advice related to that, but I don't really have anything related to it. I don't know. I think like enjoy it right now because it's probably going to be something that people will talk about for a long time.
I agree. Oh yeah, that's another reason.
So just like soak everything in right now.
Yeah. That's actually I have a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. That's actually, John, this was years ago, but when Community, the TV show, first came out, I wanted to watch it from the beginning because The Office had been out for a few years and everyone loved it, but I felt bad that I wasn't really watching The Office from the beginning. And I was like, oh, hey, Community's out. It's a brand new show. It seems pretty funny. I'm going to make sure I follow it from the beginning. And that's what you can do here with Pokemon. This is your chance. Try to get in it from the beginning.
Yeah, I have that same kind of thing. So I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and I would add, I'm all for that advice. Enjoy it, have fun with it, go play it. But my own advice would be to look for opportunities to make money or anything, but I mean, making money is a pretty good opportunity. Try to get involved. Try to drive people around for $20. Try to figure out something you could already do. There's a item in the game called I forget, a lure. There's lures and there's some other thing that attracts Pokemon to your location. So you could get your friend to pay you $1 or $2 or $5 to drop a lure. And he's right next to you, so it's going to lure Pokemon to both of you. And so it's going to help him out, and, he'll give you $1 or $2. I mean, not everyone's going to be running around trying to make $2 every time they hang out with their friends. But you know what I mean. Just look for opportunities like that. And, yeah, probably don't do it to your friends, but put it on Craigslist and get some creepy people to come over and then drop a lure. I don't know. This sounds weird. But yeah, I like the free market, and I think there's going to be a ton of opportunities here. I hope they keep it relatively open and free, but I guess we'll see. All right, I had a ton of fun there. I guess, are we good to call it, John? Anything else?
That's good for me.
All right, John, what your music is playing right now. So any comments? I don't know what it's going to be. Do you have any requests for which one of your tracks I should be playing right now? Do you have any new ones?
Not really. I have a lot of new songs, but they're not recorded and out yet.
Okay. Yeah, well, I've kind of been using the same 8 or 10 or 12 tracks for a year or so now. I've kind of built them up throughout the entire podcast, but it's been a while since I've checked your SoundCloud, so maybe I'll find some new ones. But anyway, thanks for that, John. All you listeners out there, tweet us at YouMeAndBTC or YouMeAndBTC.com. Find us either one of those ways. Leave a comment, tweet us, tell us what you're thinking, if you like Pokemon Go, if you're playing it, if you're trying to make money with it, if you think people will make money with it. I don't know. Go find us out there. Send us a message, a comment, a tweet, whatever. We'd love to know. And thanks for listening. Come back next Thursday. Peace, guys.
Also, if you think Pokemon Go is dumb, you're dumb.